Hello everyone. This would actually be my first time making a video on XCartoys or 唾液 as we call it in Chinese. It's a probably one of the biggest actually domestic Chinese brands out there. A lot of their stuffs are not licensed. I'm not sure if any of their stuff is licensed, which it's sad, but it's true. Like a lot of Chinese companies don't give a shit about intellectual property, branding, licensing, that kind of stuff. I'd rather they do, but I said this before, right? I think those big manufacturers have already more money than they need, and like as a consumer, I'm not gonna mind that much. But I'm gonna call this the nostalgic Chinese car, I guess sets or whatever. But obviously, one of the blatant differences is this Korean car that we have, the Hyundai Elantra. I got this because it's really cool and I do like how distinct it is. So I'm gonna start with this. Every single one of these, other than this Jetta, I got second-handed. All but the so this one I actually bought brand new. And out of these four cars, other than the Elantra, I got them from my friend Scott. So shout out to him. But yeah, I'm gonna start with this Elantra. First of all, I'm just gonna take a quick look at the box itself, the older style box. First of all, it's huge, and this is one of my complaints for a lot of brands, for instance, like Tomica Premium and like Matchbox, because the cardboard boxes are just a little bit too big for the cars. You know, you can easily fit this inside a Tomica size box. I'm gonna get to this as well. Well, I think it might be a little too big actually, but like more or less, you can fit in a box this big, but like it's so much bigger, you know, like across every dimension. And why that is the case is that if you open it, you're gonna see that XCartoys is trying to be like Tomic Limited Vintage, right? It's trying to protect its cars very well, which I definitely appreciate, but I feel like they can definitely do that with a smaller size. But the Elantra, another thing I take umbrage with XCartoys is their scaling. It's very inconsistent, I feel like. Some of them are true 164, some of them are not. Some of them are labeled true 164, but are not. Either way, this one is labeled as, oh, it's not actually. I think it's a little bit larger than true 164, but still, it's got rubber tires. And again, not all of them got rubber tires. In fact, none of these cars have rubber. Well, no, this one has. So these are the only two cars with rubber tires, and you can already see there is suspension, which again, I think varies car to car, but it's got very nice suspension. I think probably Tomica inspired. You can see the Hyundai logo up front, as well as a South Korean police deco. I think it's very nicely printed. I do think XCartoys is trying to position itself as the Chinese TLV. You can see lens rear lights, lensed front lights. Got the license plate, Korean license plate, presumably. Yeah, I think it's all really well done. Like the printing, especially the police insignia, is incredibly well done. The light bar, I think this is just a little bit dirt and stuff. Yeah, it's not flawless to paint. You can see a little bit of the I don't know what you would call it in English, but basically you can see where how it was removed from the die casting process, right? The windows are very clear, a little bit dusty, but that's more on me than on the car. So yeah, it's really nice. Metal body, plastic chassis, suspension, really nice wheels in my opinion. Here it says Elantra, which is the Chinese translation / transliteration of the Elantra. Yeah, so I'm very glad to have this one in my collection. Not a lot of South Korean cars in my collection, so I'm very happy to add this one. Yeah, and next up, I'm gonna save the Jetta for last because I think it's the most interesting. I'm gonna do the two vans next then. First of all, this is a Jinbei Hiace, which this started off as I think licensed reproductions of the Toyota Hiace, but this is one of like later generations. I'll put the actual generation name here in subtitles because I don't remember. I think it's like 5th or 6th generation. You can see the headlight is not perfect. You can see it's a little bit rough, but not bad, I don't think. You can see the license plate, but it's not printed, which looks a little weird. In my opinion, either just print it white or just leave out the license plates altogether, just show us the bumpers. And if the bumper is bare, that's all fine. And EMS deco, worldwide express mail service or a 全球邮政特快专递. Basically exactly what you're seeing here. You can see a little bit of, it's not, it's actually just lighting. Yeah, again, I'm just kind of impressed by the printing, although, well, come off it, here is not perfect, but it's not horrible either. And again, I did get this secondhand from my friend Scott, so like it might be it might not be the manufacturer's problem. Here it says Huachin is, I think, the it's so much lint. Huachin is the manufacturer. Jinbei, again, it's the Jinbei literally means like gold cup or like gold trophy. So I think it also reflects on the badge right here. And on the right, it says Hiace, which literally means sea lion, but obviously a Hiace is kind of a transliteration of Hiace. And you can see printed, this piece is printed, but this piece is lens. So I think it's very well done. Again, very domestically Chinese, which I think is cool. You don't see a lot of cars like this. Rubber tires, suspension, I think is all really nice. It doesn't set scale. Jinbei Hiace, again, Jinbei Hiace, it's like a Hiace. But I think this generation is kind of based on the a specific Toyota Hiace, but the previous generation. But this one is actually more of a generation that's spawned from the from that kind of a facelifted slash badge engineered Hiace. So it's like this one is not a direct badge. Oh, why am my brain is not working that well? It's not a direct badge re-engineered Hiace. It's more like a evolution of a previous generation of Hiace. Next up, another van is the incredibly famous Daihatsu van. What is going on with me? And this one is famous for being manufactured by FAW Tianjin. Tianjin is a city that is right next to Beijing. And it is very famous, especially in the yellow color. You can see it's a taxi variation. And here it says 北京小蓝鸟出租汽车公司, which means Beijing Little Blue Bird Taxi Company, and it has the number 001. Highlights are the lens. You can see TJ is the 110. Is that the designation? But basically, it's the actual designation in Tianjin FAW, and the license plate reads Beijing 01, and the numbers you can read. It's pretty easy. So yeah, these things were really popular back in the days, and especially again in the color yellow. But this, starting from this car, it actually has a plastic wheel, very similar to a Tomica Premium. Not bad, but obviously rubber tires would be a little bit better. And the scale, according to the base, first time we're seeing any scale is 150. Again, this just says Tianjin Daihatsu. Dafa is what we call those bread vans, and it literally just means Daihatsu. 150, so it's kind of big, and it makes sense. It's pretty big. But this one, I think in comparison to the earlier ones, this one is actually screwed with one screw at the front. The Hyundai Elantra is riveted. It's like there's just a lot of inconsistency. This one is riveted again. Yeah, but this one happens to be screwed, so that's probably nice if you want to, like take it apart and change stuff. The rear is printed, but it's very nicely printed. Like again, like what I really like about XCartoys is like their quality is really nice. It's very sharp, the printing, and pricing wise, these are pretty nice as well. I think they're roughly the equivalent. They're more expensive than a basic Tomica at around so it's more than $5, but it's cheaper than a Tomica Premium. And I feel like with a lot of them, it's definitely around like Tomica Premium quality, but being cheaper. Obviously, I would assume a lot of the price cost cutting would be for not paying for the licenses. But again, I think it's up to every individual whether they care about it or not. And this one does not have suspension. And the next one doesn't have suspension either. This is what we call Tianjin Xiali. Again, it's still a Tianjin FAW product. Xiali literally means charade because, or charade, depending on where you are. And this is basically I think this is an unlicensed this started as an unlicensed copy of the Daihatsu Charade or Charade. And this is tiny. You can see it's really small. For instance, compared to the Jetta we're gonna get to, it's really small. So there's a good chance I think this might be 164, but it doesn't. Oh, it actually says 164, but depending on whether you want to trust them or not. And this one also has has plastic wheels, and it actually is also screwed together. And the side says 拓意出租汽车服务公司, which literally means XCartoys Taxi Service Company. And it has its numbers, says taxi on top. So yeah, it's lensed headlights and painted rear lights. And I'm gonna fuck with the focus all the time. And the bottom is reasonably detailed as far as I'm concerned. And last but not least is the Jetta. And the Jetta, the Charade, as well as I don't remember exactly, but some kind of Citroen that XCartoys is actually about to make are like what I remember about cars when I was little. These things were all over the place. And I'm glad they've already tackled 2 of these 3 cars and very close to releasing a 3rd one. But this one actually came out a while ago, just talking about the history. So this is this means 公安, which is police. So this is all like a Chinese police deco. And XCartoys came out with this casting and this specific deco a long time ago. And obviously it has been discontinued for some while, so the online secondary market price is actually pretty high. And XCartoys did the smart thing, and they re-released it. When it first came out, I think it has a box like this, but now XCartoys actually scaled it down and came out with this. And what's interesting is this is the exact same dimensions as a standard Atomica box, and I can demonstrate it by here. This is a protector that's specifically designed for regular Atomica boxes, and it fits like a glove. But obviously the problem being there's no longer these plastic blisters inside, so they only give you a plastic bag, just as Atomica does with regular or premium Atomicas. And you can see I've heard complaints regarding those re-release castings. You can see the printing is not perfect. I mean, it's excusable, again, considering that these are only slightly more expensive than a basic Atomica, and what you get is definitely more than what you would get on a basic Atomica, like more than anything else. Those rims and actual rubber tires and suspension, well, obviously regular Atomicas have suspensions, but still, authentic rims and rubber tires, and obviously lens headlights, which a good number of basic Atomica has, but not even close to all of them. It says police. I'm not sure how to actually describe the differences between this word for police and this pair this pair of characters for police. I'm not sure. There might not even be a difference. I'm not sure. Yeah, and lens headlights, lens rear lights, and this one it says Jetta, which is again transliteration of Jetta. And this one doesn't have the scale, but I've heard from my friend Scott, who actually did the numbers on this, is actually this is close to 157, and another 157 car is this Atomica 370Z. So this is roughly the dimensions. I do think the Jetta, I think this is probably the most likely the second generation Jetta, which was the most popular version in China. I think the Jetta is a very good looking car, although a lot of my memories associated with Jetta was I mean, sometimes legit and sometimes technically illegal taxi services in these cars, and also they always remind me of the smell that's kind of a half cigarette smoke and half air refreshers. Is that what it's called? But basically, like small vials of what's basically perfume, trying to make the car smell a little bit better, and the result is just incredibly gross. So yeah, I do like XCartoys. I do have a few other ones that I haven't showed yet, but they're a little bit more different from this theme, even though like this is already not like a full Chinese nostalgic cars, but I feel like these the 3 other ones that I have are a little bit more out there as far as cars goes, and I do want to give them individual spotlights more or less. So yeah, the Hiace, which is based on a Hiace. the Daihatsu van, Hyundai Elantra, VW Jetta, and the Tianjin Xiali, which is a unlicensed copy of Daihatsu Charade. So I really hope you find this video interesting. I think XCartoys, if you're interested in Chinese cars or just want to expand your collection a little bit to incorporate like cars from other different nations, different countries, different culture, I think this is great. I would definitely prefer if XCartoys has actual brandings and actual licensing, but I can't pretend I mind it that much. So I think I'm gonna keep collecting them. They just came out with a Mitsubishi Pajero, which looks interesting, and I might consider getting it. And they're coming out with a 164 tank, which I think will be pretty cool. We'll see how that turns out. Thank you for watching for this whole time. It's a very long video, and I haven't been making videos in a long time because I just started working as an English teacher here in Beijing. I've been pretty busy, haven't got a lot of time, and I hope I can film a bunch of videos in one go, and we'll see how that goes. Thank you again. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll talk to you again very soon. Bye.